One of the things that you can do is to see who in your local area is following the practices you're in competition with on Twitter, and then you just go and follow those people. So let's say, for example, you're in competition with Smith & Jones Opticians, and they have their own Twitter page, and they've got 100 local people following the Smith & Jones Opticians Twitter feed. Well, you go and you follow those 100 people. Now, those are 100 people in your local area. Some of them will say, oh, that's interesting, another opticians is following us on Twitter. I'll follow them back. And actually, that's one of the easiest ways to target people who are already connected to opticians in the area. Is it unethical to do this? No, it's not at all. Will Smith & Jones do it back to you? Maybe they won't. Another thing that you can do is you can actually see who's active in the local area by looking at, say, who's following the local football club or who's following other businesses in the town. So you go and steal audience from other businesses in the area by following people who are already following other local businesses. One more final thing that you can do is you can look at who's using hashtags for your local town. A hashtag is something you can use on Twitter and Facebook, but it's more popular on Twitter, where, let's say, for example, I was based in Basingstoke, and I was saying, wow, what a great carnival this year, hashtag Basingstoke Carnival, for example. Well, a hashtag is just a way of flagging up a piece of content of being about a particular subject. You can go and look and search on Twitter for all the people who are hashtagging about Basingstoke or Basingstoke Carnival or anything regarding your area. You then just see who's hashtagging that. Are they someone who could be in that local area? And then can I follow them? And some people, particularly those who are a little bit obsessed with Twitter, will see that someone new is following them and they will follow you back. Well, that's all it takes to get people to follow you. This is the kind of thing that can be done, by the way, on a very dull evening in front of the television. You know, you don't have to pay anyone to do this. You don't have to take up any valuable practice time to do this. You can sit in front of EastEnders one night following people on Twitter. Some of those people will follow you back.
The top tip is going to be about tax planning on the disposal of a practice. First thing to be aware of is that the planning should take place at the earliest possible time. So if you are looking to sell a practice in about 3 years' time, probably now would be the time to look at the tax side of the business. What I would do is I would work out exactly what you're going to sell. If you're going to sell the assets of the business, then if you're running a limited company, you're going to be taxed twice. You're going to be taxed once when the business sells the assets, and again when you try and extract the money out of the business. If you're selling a sole tradership or you're selling the shares of a business, you're only going to be taxed once, and that's on the sale itself. Working with numbers, if you wanted to receive £450,000 in your pocket from your practice, then if you were selling the shares of a limited company, what you'd have to do is the value would have to be £625,000. If you were selling a sole tradership or you were selling the shares of a business, the proceeds would only have to be £500,000. So selling the shares or selling the interest in a sole tradership would actually mean that you end up with more money in your pocket, paying less tax. Why is that? That's because of something called entrepreneur's relief. Entrepreneur's relief is a tax at 10% on the proceeds. Now, in order to qualify for entrepreneur's relief, you have to sell a material amount of your business. You have to have been trading through that business, and there has to be trading assets within that business. So it's very important that you do some planning to make sure that that's what you're selling. And the most important tip of all is that when you put this transaction on your tax return, you have to tick a box that says entrepreneur's relief being claimed. If you don't do that, you could end up paying a great deal more tax than 10%. So in summary, the entrepreneur's relief is available for a capital gain, whereas if it's not a capital gain, then you'll be taxed under the income tax rules. And under income tax rules, the rates are between 20% and as high as 45%. So it's important to try and get everything in order so that you do qualify for entrepreneur's relief and you do qualify for the 10% rate of tax on all of the proceeds.